Start.
Okay, welcome to the fourth day of the third Craft Animation Festival on an exceptional day. And I'm pretty sure you know why. October 28th is an International Animation Day, of course. The more I'm very pleased that I can host and talk with three great animation artists. We will talk in the order in which your films are presented in the third program. But because we still waiting for our third guest, the first interlocutor, I don't know if English it's the same word, is Paz de la Cara de la Portilla.
Yes, hello.
Hello, director of the very important and very strong movie Shame. It's a student movie. Paz is originally from Spain, but the movie was created in United Kingdom, right?
Yeah, I was there in an exchange with my university, so I spent there 3 months, and one of the things we had to do there was a short film. So for me, it was very difficult because I had never created a short film. I've only animated a little bit, and they were like, oh, now you have to make a short film because this is animation. And I was studying design, and I was like, oh my God, but I managed, as you can see.
Yeah. Your film, Shame, touches on a very important topic nowadays that is currently being widely discussed. I think in a couple of countries, in Poland for sure. And it's very important because, as you know, Poland is probably the most Catholic country in Europe next to Spain and Ireland. The topic of sexual abuse in Catholic institution. In Poland, the crucial were two feature-length documents that started a serious discussion and prompt authorities to take any steps. Not so huge steps, but fortunately something. Nevertheless, still a significant part of society denies this problem or believes that the victim are not the priest. The victim is not the priest is to blame. So I'm very. I wonder how it looks like in Spain nowadays.
So, yeah, I think we have just started talking about this subject. I watched a documentary about it on Netflix. So I think we're already talking about it, but it's not like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I've never heard church being like, oh yes, we made a mistake. I admit it. No one's apologized. I think I'm not really into church, as you can imagine. So it's not like I follow the topic, like officially. But I see there's more people talking about it, and yeah, when I show this film, a lot of like old men tell me that they had the same situation, and then that is very nice that we're like speaking up, but there's a long way to go, I think, until they admit it. The schools, for example, they go like, oh no, that in my school that never happened, and I'm like, it happened everywhere. Like 8% of all priests have sexually abused children, and that's proven, and that's only the proven cases. So just imagine, but nobody wants to admit something like that. But I think it's good for them. It would be good for them because it's a way of cleaning your past. Like, for example, some weeks ago, I received a prize from a Catholic university. And I was like, this is interesting, because I wasn't expecting this, it was very weird. But I think it was a way for them to say like, oh, yes, I admit it. Yeah, we did wrong, but now I listen to you, I hear you. So there you go. Thanks for talking about it. Or I don't know. It was interesting. I hope we can do more about it.
Yeah, but it's very good to hear that your short movie was had this impact, that opened the tongues, the mouths,
the dialogue,
people, and also open the mind, and people start to thinking and talking about this problem. And at the same time, I'm not surprised that you received the award from the Catholic side, because in this situation, many people in the Catholic institutions start to create a good image, we are okay. Only some bad priests do that, but we are very okay. The same situation is in Poland, and as I told you, these two feature documentary film, it was 2019 and 2020, and or 2018 and 2020, 2018 and 2019. It was the beginning, it was the beginning. Many people, because these movies were presented online on YouTube for free, so millions of people watched this movie and start to talking about this situation.
It was the same in Spain, more or less, same years, same thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Your movie is based on your father's school experience, and I wonder, how did your dad react to the idea of making this movie? Did you have convinced him for a long time?
I mean, I think he didn't care too much at the beginning. Neither of us expected it to be like a big thing, like big for me. So I asked one day, I thought I might do something about this subject. I was thinking about a comic book or whatever. So when they told me I had to do a short film, I thought, yeah, maybe this subject is interesting. So I asked my dad, like, Dad, I'm going to make a movie, a short film about this. Is that okay? He was like, yeah, sure. I think it's important that people talk about this. So yeah, no problem. He was very helpful. I recorded him while, it was like I was just asking questions and he was answering. Totally improved. Like we didn't practice before. It was just what he said at the moment, and that's the voice I used for the final cut, like the final short film. So I think that's like very real. The way he's talking, it feels like actually real, not like he's reading, because he was not. He was just talking. He was expressing what he felt at the moment.
I appreciate the simplicity, or even strict. Now we goes to the technical things of the movie, or even strict of the animation. Thanks to which the problem is even more physically touchable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to ask you about the process, how you created this movie, and the idea of the art concept of the movie.
Okay, so to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know how to animate digitally or any other way. I only knew how to animate with a paper and a light table. So, but I was thinking about maybe trying to learn something faster. But I thought it was perfect, because it's what a kid would do. He would draw on a paper his story. It was simple, it was crafty, it was about a child. So I finally ended up doing it like that. and it was suicide because I didn't know how to use After Effects or anything. So maybe 1 minute of film, I could have done it in one day, and I spent 3 days drawing non-stop because I didn't know how to, make it easy for me. But about the characters and everything, I didn't spend too much thinking about the concept because it was there. It was so clear. Like I have here, because I think it might be interesting to see the first sketch I made about the film. And it's this one, and as you can see, it's almost the same. It's it's the same. Yeah.
The priests are more ugly in the movie.
Yeah, I made him uglier, but the kid is just the same. So it was very easy, I think. Well, easy, not easy. I almost died. I spent like 1 month and a half not sleeping, but it was great. Yeah, that's why I used pencil and paper only.
Okay. Question to the audience, that if you have any questions, please put it on the chat as a comment on YouTube, and we will see this question or comment, and I will be very happy to read to our guest. Okay, for now, maybe we will back to Paz. I hope we will back to Paz and to Shane. But now we will go to Jen Fisher from Canada. Good morning, one more time.
Good morning.
Yes, because Jen started her day now, and we will talk a little about Stash and the Inner Walk movie presented in the same program, the third program in international competition. The protagonist of your film is Salvador Dali, but maybe rather his famous mustache, I think. Can you tell us more about the story, about the concept standing behind this movie?
Oh, yes. Well, the idea first kind of came to me, I guess it was back in 2017 when Dali's remains were exhumed for testing for a paternity test, and it was because a fortune teller, Spanish fortune teller, claimed that she was Dali's daughter, and of course, all of the proceeds from his estate go to the state, go to Spain. So a question of paternity is a pretty big deal. And anyway, when they exhumed him, basically his mustache, which I'm sure was very heavily lacquered, was still intact, and hair doesn't decompose in the same way. So there was a big deal that was made about the fact that his 10-2 mustache was still intact, and that's when I started to think, well, what if it was alive? Like, what would happen? Maybe So the idea kind of went from there, and as well, Dali was always like, he had this thing like, I am Dali, and his mustache was, and he weren't inseparable in during life. Like his mustache was iconic in the sense that if you see that handlebar mustache, you'd think of Dali, and if you'd see Dali, well, you'd think of this crazy mustache he had. So there was kind of this, I was kind of playing on well, who really is Dali, or who really is the mustache in a sense. And so that they weren't inseparable, but I played it as that the mustache actually had some kind of intelligence and sentience and a mind of its own, so to speak.
When I watched your movie, it reminds me the Freedom of Leg by Piotr Dumała. I don't know if you.
I'm familiar
from
with.
Yes,
work.
from
But
80s. It's 80s of 20th century. Yeah, but the story is, I mean, the story is that one guy going to bed, start to sleep, and then his leg go away. one leg go away. Yeah,
yeah.
and start to travel and travel through the city. And yeah, when I saw the mustache, the first movie came to my mind was, oh, like the freedom of leg, just this very similar way of thinking about the part of our body. Can you tell us more about the technique? Because it's a very nice technique, but not easy at all.
Yes. It's a combination of cutout and paint on glass animation techniques. And it was shot on a big camera stand, or part of it. So I basically, it was a multi-plane rig. So I had several layers and I started with the background layer first. So the mustache was on a separate layer. But for the background, what I did is I had 3 levels, like 3 tiers, and I'd have cutouts on various levels. And then I would have a glass over top. And with a paint, I used an acrylic ink. So I'd have that over top. And then as I'd move the cutouts below, and then I'd have an ink layer up top that I would basically finger paint. And then I would remove a portion of it for the details with a Q-tip or finger or a cloth. And so I used about 1,500 Q-tips. We're just under that. And so that was kind of the background layer. And then for the and environment, and then for the mustache itself, I used like just glass over a piece of green paper. So I green screened it essentially, and I painted the mustache like under camera and did that frame by frame. And then I green screened it, composited it afterwards together in After Effects. So I had the kind of the background layer and the action, and then I painted the mustache after it layer and then put it together. So yeah, it was a very fly by the seat of my pants kind of thing.
How long you made the movie? The whole
well
process?
from concept to completion, it was about 2 years, but this was also the first time I'd done this. So that probably accounts for the length of time. I'm trying to think of when I started actually shooting, because paint on glass and cutouts, like I found, are very front end heavy. Like it's, it seems like you're never going to get to shooting. And so I was already kind of like a year behind. And how long did it take me? I think I started shooting. It probably took me shooting wise 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that it was your first movie. It's your first movie?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Yes.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Congratulations. Okay. And this question I ask always: the biggest challenge during the work, the process. What was the biggest challenge?
Well, I think I found because it took me a while to figure out what technique I was using, or how I was going to do it. How do you make a mustache like that has no spine? How do you move it? But I can honestly say I think it was the mental part of it. For me, was like thinking like, how am I going to get this done? And then is it going to be justified, just kind of justify the idea I had? And then it was like, oh my, is it like, are people even going to like it? Or it's just, oh, it's going to be bad. So for me, I found I think working through the mental part of it, the hardest, like I think when you hit sometimes the doldrums, like that middle part where it's like, I can't really go back, but it's just as far to go forward. And yeah, so it was just you just keep on keeping on, and then hope you get it done, and then you hope that it actually gets watched, and you hope that maybe people like it too. So I would definitely say it was a lot, the self analysis that comes in it was the hardest for me anyway.
Okay. And one more question: who gave the voice to Dali's voice?
Oh, that was me.
Yeah.
On my cell phone. Yeah, the sound designer, I had to say, hey, you got to tape this. And I went, oh, okay. So, and you'd never know how many different ways you can say 3 words. Like, I am Dali. I am Dali.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really quite fun. So.
Okay, thank you, Joanne. I will back now to Paz, and I will ask you about the same thing, the biggest challenge in your movie, because your movie, we didn't mention this, that your movie mixed techniques, because it's a drawing. We mentioned a little. It's a drawing animation. It's a cutout. It's an object animation. What was the biggest challenge for you when you created this movie?
Okay, I think for me, it was the technical part where you have to put like many layers, like the multi. How did Joanne say? She used like a lot of layers, right? So I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to use a chroma or anything. So I basically was trying to put everything at the same time, and it would create like reflections, especially the last part of the short film where there's like the children is drowning on water. So instead of making that, digitally, which makes a lot of sense, I was like with a paper that shined so much. It was like the brightest thing ever. So I was trying to, bend it to avoid the shiny reflection. That was terrible. But I would agree with her that it was the mental issue. I have to finish my studies and make this short film, and go to the gym and socialize and everything. It was very hard, but I think it's always worth it, isn't it? I think that's the nice thing about animation, is that we all struggle while making it, but it's so good when you finish, that it makes everyone so happy, especially you. Yeah, I love that. But yeah, technically, it was also a nightmare for me, everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you just confirmed that the greatest challenge are ourselves. We are ourselves. Yeah. If anyone has any question, because you can ask now. If not, I will ask you about the future. because yeah, we have to thinking about the future because we know why. Okay, about the future. Joanne, some plans for another movie, painting on glass? Maybe
I'm nothing
Picasso?
concrete. I have some ideas. When I finished Stash, which was like end of February 2020, that's when kind of the COVID hit and the lockdown hit. And I found it very difficult to be creative or get a lot done. And so I find I'm starting to come out of it. And even though so Stash is finishing its kind of festival run, really, it's coming to the end of the 2 years. So now I'm starting to noodle around a bit. But honestly, I can't give you anything really concrete because I just have a few seeds that I'm working on. It'll probably be something kind of similar, not with a mustache, but in a similar vein.
Okay, pass.
So now I'm trying to specialize on stop motion, which is the thing I like the most. So for my final work, like to finish my degree, you have to make like these special work. So I'm going to make a stop motion film about children dreams. Like I'm going to record children explaining what they dreamed yesterday, and so animate that. We still don't have the dreams. I have to find some children. But I'm excited about it. Yeah, that's it.
So it will be a documentary, animated documentary.
I mean, kind
Somehow,
of. Yeah. It's just going to be children talking. So it's not like I'm going to try to explain it. No, I'm just gonna, like illustrate the dreams because I think sometimes they're so funny, so original. I read a book about, well, it wasn't a book. It was like a big illustration with different dreams, and there was like an illustration that had something in common. So it was like huge, and I loved it. It was so original. I had the chance to meet the guy that wrote that book, so he was very excited about me animating it also, and hopefully it's gonna be fun. That's what I want to get is something funny and cute. That's it.
You said stop motion, but cut out, not puppet.
No, I think I'm going to go with puppets. Yeah, like,
Okay.
I like that, and I want to try to make some of. I'm already learning with a Spanish animator who is Coque Riobo. He won a Goya, which is like the Oscars in Spain. He's nice, and he's trying to teach me everything. So hopefully it would be possible. I know it's a big challenge, but that's what I want to do. Like when I finish my degree, and I'm looking for that kind of job. So.
Okay. So I recommend you, if you want to develop this project, the puppets animated film project, you should apply to the Animarkt stop motion forum. Yeah, it's a very, very nice place, and only one in the world focused only on puppet animation with huge variety of teachings and awards in the end for the best, the most interesting project.
Oh, nice.
So,
how do you write that? Because
Animarkt. It's in Poland. The next edition, I think the 5th edition will be in November.
Okay.
It's held in my home city. Lots connected very much with animation, with especially with the puppet animation, because the Semaphore studio in the past, and yeah. So yeah, just some suggestion.
Okay, thank you. In Poland, I don't know why in Poland you're so good at puppet making, aren't you? I have that impression because
Yeah, of
they
course.
always show us the stop motion, the Poland stop motion movies are the best, and I'm like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, today I had the interview through the phone with one radio station from another city about International Animation Day, and they asked me because they knew that I am from this city. I worked in Semaphore Studio in the past, and why? The same question. Why the you know?
So good at it.
Yeah. And I can tell you the same, that this is the consequences of the history of this city and the Semaphore, because Semaphore were the they focused on the puppet animation, like in Czech Republic or in Estonia. The famous studios, Semaphore was in Poland. And the first animated movie after Second World War from 1947, it was the puppet animation. So I think this is the consequences of the huge history of this technique in this city, and that's why many great animators, puppeteers, they live here. So yeah, we are very good in this. Yeah. Okay.
We have Carla here.
Yes.
Carla from selection process.
Oh, okay. But first, the question for Joanne. Dali is a huge figure in fine art. Your film is a very interesting take on him. Have you ever get any reaction from any fine art community about the film?
I'm not sure how to respond to that because the animation community has been very welcoming of it, or I haven't received anything like I did try to get the film to Spain. I was really kind of hoping maybe there'd be something in Spain. But in terms, I guess it's considered more experimental animation just because of the technique that's used, with it being more hands-on. But as from the fine arts community, I think it's just kind of part of the fine arts community in a sense. So I don't see like animation as necessarily being separate. Like independent animation, I think has a place there as well. So maybe if you can I guess parse it out a bit for me, but I don't know how to. I haven't had MoMA call me, or I haven't had but I yeah. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, our third guest appeared. Hello, Carla. You have to unmute, I think. Carla. Some technical problems. We cannot hear you. Yeah, I think the connection is very weak. This online. You have to unmute, Carla.
Carla, you can unmute by clicking the red microphone icon. The red microphone icon.
Okay. Yeah, I sent the message on the chat.
You hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now, but I see that you are still mute.
Yeah. I connect very early. I just arrived for work and I arrived later and
okay. let's go. Let's try. Let's fight with this situation. Carla Pereira is our third guest, and her movie selection process made in Spain this year. And yeah, the story about the cat that goes to a job interview, but the interviewers are the three mouses, very creepy mouses. Can you tell us more about this history?
Yeah, the script for the short is based on a comic that I drew for a French fanzine a few years ago. And a requirement was that mice should appear. And I thinking about the story with mice, and the idea was to create a cognitive dissonance in the viewer, for example, by using saturated colors and mix them with an ugly aesthetic and an unpleasant environment. And actually, the job interview was an excuse for because I just want to tell a story in a cathartic way. I wanted to talk about a very harmful pattern of behavior that I repeat in my life, and the job interview was just an excuse. I wanted to communicate things through the details, for example, through the colors, or as the cat grows more and more nervous, the camera gets closer and closer, and but instead the mice always stay at the same distance, far and safe, and because there is only a shot and reverse shot, and the short film was shooting in a very short time, just 2 months. I don't have very much time to work in the short film, and I want to tell the story in a really short way, and but I love use symbolism, and I think the short film is full of symbolic things, like the painting of the volcano in the background changes as the cat mood changes, for example. Even nobody not notice, and my first idea was to communicate on an unconscious level the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Or for example, sorry.
No, please. For example, please continue.
Even if nobody noticed, in the air conditioner is covered in cobwebs, and it means that it has been broken for a long time, but nobody fixed it. And the symbolism like that, very subtle, in a subtle way. I love to communicate things in a subtle way.
Mm-hmm. By the way, we are very sorry that you see me, not our guest. I don't know why, but I think you can see me, only me, not Carla. But you can hear Carla. So I want to ask you about the puppets. How you made it? What the materials you used to create the puppets?
It's mostly silicone and clothes and stuff. And I love to sew with my hands and not using a machine. And it's in an art, very arty, and mostly silicone and stuff.
Okay.
And clothes.
And how big the set was? Because it was only one set, I suppose, or no, maybe two sets.
So I don't hear you very well. Sorry.
I mean, I asked you about the plans. The scenography was created as a one scenography, and you animated in the one on the area of one scenography, or there was two scenographies.
The scenario was designed by me, but made by Juan Fran Jacinto. It's my colleague. I always work with him, and he did the scenarios.
Okay, and two more questions about the challenge. What was the biggest challenge? Because for you it was not the first movie, right?
No, it's my second short film.
And what was the biggest challenge during the selection process?
The time.
What was the time? Okay.
Sorry for my English. It's not so good, I know, but
mine is not better.
Yeah, it's better for sure.
Not better. I said mine is not better. But please continue.
The producer said me. The producer said me that the short film should be finished in just 2 months because the money, the budget, and in 2 months we did all the short film. The idea, the scenarios, the puppets, the animation, the post-production, everything in 2 months. This is the big challenge, the biggest challenge.
Yeah,
I think, yeah. And the team was really small, really small. And in fact, I saw the puppets in my house because we have time for more. I asked for the producer for more people in the team, but was impossible. And I need to work at home. I work like 12 hours a day. Was crazy. Yeah.
Okay, and my last question is about the story. The story is based on your own experience, or I mean, not that you go to looking for a job and then you met mouses, no, but you know, this situation when both sides they really don't want to have a success in the end, because the mouses totally ignore the cat. What the cat start to tell us is, no, I mean, for me, I don't want this kind of guy in my work, you know what I mean? So you experienced something like that? Or you heard about this?
the question about silent movies happens to a friend of mine in an interview. And she told me about the question like, was crazy because they asked me for the silent movies and I don't know why. And is the only thing is really true. And the final, when the mice are watching the cell phone, is with a situation is based on a situation with my brother. Once that I talk to him and he don't listen to me and watching his cell phone. And when I asked him, he said me, "Oh, it's a dog walking backwards." And I said, "Oh, this is more interesting than I told." And
Okay.
this is the only two things are real true, and the other is just an excuse.
Okay. Okay. I think we will end our meeting. If there's no questions from the audience, we still can put the question in the chat, by the way. But thank you very much. But thank you very much. Our guests were Jan Fischer, Stash and Inner Walk, Paz del Care de la Portilla, Shame, director of the movie Shame, and Carla Pereira, director of Selection Process. These movies you still can watch in the programs, in the program number 3. Of course, you have to be in Indonesia. Sorry, this is the name of this situation is GeoBlog, and we had to make it. Thank you very much for your participation, and I wish you all the best in this very important for our community day, International Animation Day, of course. So
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Thank you, Paz. Thank you, Carla.
Thank you. It was a
Happy
pleasure.
World Animation Day,
Yes.
everyone.
Happy day to you guys too.
Happy day to you.
Thank you. Thanks.